But let's get started with the first one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe we should do a teaser for the second one, though.
Well, regardless, you're going to do some sort of unveiling, aren't you?
I am. So I just got this package in the mail today. I was expecting it, but it arrived sooner than I was expecting, from a dear friend, longtime colleague, and of both Joshua and myself, Russian, no less. We'll be talking a little bit about this mysterious package.
He's got my same lineage.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Very cool. Well,
Russian Jew I am.
That's cool. That's cool. There's a secret package in this package, and I expect that it's going to be really cool. This isn't just your normal like marketing info product or something like that. This is something extra special. The initials of the fine gentleman that sent this to me are YS. I mean, that narrows it down, honestly. YS. See if you can guess the initials of YS. Who is the mystery man behind the mystery package? With a little bit of luck and some magic fairy dust, YS will be joining us a little bit later on our live stream, if all goes according to plan. If it doesn't go according to plan, we'll still reveal.
Imagine if his last name was like Thornhill. YT.
Have you been reading that guy's stuff?
No. Oh, wait. Yeah. Daniel.
That guy's off the.
He's a genius, man. I love him. Yeah. Thank you for introducing me to him, for sure.
Well, thank you, Joe Lavery. Thank you, Joe Lavery.
Well, let's get to it so that we have time to explain what we need help with, and maybe the people that are tuning in and tuning out can actually give us a hand, give us some guidance.
Yeah, well, so here's what we're doing, guys. We are getting better and better and better at really communicating our marketing message about the reinvention, recreation, re-release, revival of Joshua's amazing NPOD system, which stands for Net Profits on Demand. And the reason we're doing this is because I was just cleaning my desk. Believe it or not, it's true. I was actually cleaning my desk. And as a result, I was able to, and my desk has been a mess for a long time, like a big mess.
Now I'm feeling like shit. I gotta do the same thing as time.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about live streaming is you don't have to show your desk. But this is the NPOD system. This is like the third version. The original version that I got was these two boxes of CDs, and it came with a big thick workbook, spiral bound. Workbook.
That's actually not the original. The original were cassette tapes.
Right, cassette and VHS.
Cassette tapes and VHS tapes, yeah.
So badass. Wicked retro. NPOD retro. And
it was cutting edge back then, man.
I know. So I went through this program in 2003, 2004, and what happened was I did the homework in the course. I implemented it all, and I built my first internet business. Not only did it turn out to be my first internet business, but it was my first $1 million business. Okay, I built a $1 million blueprint as a result of the foundation that I learned. And there were some other bells and whistles that I learned along the way. There were other gurus and skills that were key.
Couldn't help but be a part of it. Sure,
there were key ingredients, but I came up with the recipe by going through NPOD. And it worked. I was hungry. I was focused. I was determined. I was working my ass off. I wanted to escape poverty and get some leverage. And I did this thing, and out popped a business. This is gonna get us there. Out popped a business that generated leads every day, generated sales every day. And in my case, they weren't even sales of my own products or services at first. I was selling other people's. So even if I couldn't sell or didn't have my own products or services to sell, I had an automated system that was generating new subscribers every day, generating money every day, and that I could create surges of cash whenever I wanted to or needed to on either a predictable or an unpredictable basis. Right?
So let's get into it, because I want to make sure that we have some time to start digging into this before YS gets here.
Right. So here's what we're working on. Joshua and I are just going to like publicly brainstorm with you guys. And if you have anything to say, if you're watching us, and first of all, if you're watching us and you'd like to interact, chime in the comments so that we know you're here. So what we're doing is we're really getting our audience refined. We're getting our big promise to our audience defined, that what NPod actually does for you. And then we are getting super clear on the 3 big steps that NPod takes you through from beginning, middle to end as you go through it. What are the 3 big obstacles that it helps you to overcome that currently are preventing you from having that big promise, right? And so what are the 3 big steps to get there? 3 big chunks you really have to deal, the big problems you have to deal with, right?
Right.
So I am going to type as we talk, even if it's a little distracting, because I don't want to miss out on a good note.
And luckily we are recording this, so that's a good thing.
Totally recording. So by the way, existing NPod students, either if you're a new NPod student in our most recent class, or if you're a old school veteran NPod student from 15 plus years ago, if you have any thoughts or answers to these questions, please chime in, right? Please chime in, because you already have experienced that, right? So one of the things that we really like to do is to work with existing business owners and or people who have significant knowledge in their area of expertise to actually be able to build a business around their knowledge and area of expertise, where they have some confidence around that, right? And so people who've built careers or businesses often have this type of experience, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were pretty clear on the who.
Yeah. Well, so let's state that a little bit more clearly, right? So the who.
Well, I think we're looking at people that are like, in some way, shape, or form, they are in the not just the time for money economy, but the results economy, where it's up to them to produce their income on some capacity, whether they work for somebody else as a commissioned salesperson, or they're a service provider, like a hypnotherapist, or whatever that might be, where they're at some degree, maybe they don't think of themselves as an entrepreneur necessarily. Maybe they think of themselves as a small business owner or a freelancer or a copywriter, working on different projects, that type of thing. I think anybody that needs to have a little systematic certainty to be able to control the tap on their business without it relying on them, so that the business starts to happen regardless of what the energy is and the efforts are of the individual.
Right.
And the things that we came up with prior to this call were like salespeople looking for leverage, consultants, coaches, service providers, subject matter experts, thought leaders, authors, and influencers. That are that haven't yet mastered, that might feel like they've missed the boat on the internet thing, and that they need some sort of a systematic way to bring their message to the market, and they don't like the idea of, with the exception of commissioned salespeople, they don't like the idea of having to sell anybody or chase anybody. They would much rather, they have no problem talking to people and educating them, but they would like that to be initiated from the other person forward.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Lately, I've been having conversations with guys that I'm going to just consider biz oppers. Okay. And these are, strangely, they're usually men. Very rarely do I see women in this particular area, but hey, maybe that's not true. when you ask them what kind of list they have, they respond MMO, and MMO means make money online. And often they have somewhere between 1 and 10,000 people on their list, and they built that list either through like a Warrior Forum launch, JVZoo launch, or by buying at some solo ads to drive to a squeeze page.
Right.
And then they often send the swipe emails that are proven to convert that they get for any of the affiliate offers that they're promoting out. And they often are when they're doing it and they're actually making money, even if it's not a lot of money, they're usually very smart. I found that often they're college educated. Sometimes they have investments in the significant investments that they've put away that they're living on while they're trying to figure this out. But often they don't have a bond or connection with their list because they look and sound and feel just like every other jackass out there trying to sell somebody how to make money on the internet when they don't know how to make money on the internet, right? So where's the integrity in that, right? So one question, that I have is, one thing that NPod can do, I've seen it do, like when people learn how to build a personal bond and connection through their email list, and that's one of the biggest pieces of NPod, which is the X factor,
right,
is it puts you in a situation where your list actually gives a crap about you because you actually give a crap about them.
Right. You're actually serving them. You're creating value on some level for them.
But like chronic biz oppers tend to just jump from thing to thing, and they're not in a long-term game plan. They tend to spend a lot of money, but they also tend to refund a lot. And so I'm wondering,
it's interesting because I don't know whether it was Dan Kennedy or Gary Halbert. I think it was probably Dan Kennedy actually.
Yeah.
That explained this to me. However somebody likes to buy is how they will continue. Like however you sold them in the first spot or in the first place is how they're expecting you to sell them in the future.
Yeah.
This, and the way that this applies to the internet is that how you enroll a subscriber or a customer is how you're actually culturing and conditioning them to respond in the future. So
right.
If it's a lot of these, just like, the good side of the Warrior and the JVZoo launches are that when you do a good one successfully, you get a lot influx of customers, not just subscribers. You get good subscribers too.
Matt just crushed it. He just crushed it with his most recent one, right?
And, if you do that right on the other side of that, awesome. Because what a lot of people then do is that they owe everybody else reciprocal mailings.
Right.
And so it ends up being like passing $1 to the next dollar, and each of the merchants gets to hold that dollar for a week. And then next week, we all agree that we're going to pass it to Tellman. And then we all agree that we're all going to pass it. And really what ends up happening is that it cultures in the response where they're expecting, because what people end up doing is they hammer that list with offer after offer after offer. And it's just a series of the same type of thing where it's a big launch or something that they now owe for reciprocal mailings. And it really doesn't matter what the products are. Not saying that they're bad, but like I happen to know from talking to you that Matt Basak has a very strategic process in mind and why he's willing to do that. And he gave up 100% of all of his profits on the front end because he wanted to acquire that list of buyers.
Right.
And I assume that the only way that he can make that useful for himself downstream is to be able to culture and work with those people and not owe a bunch of reciprocal mailings to other people so that he can promote his own services and products that way. So I think that's a big gap for people not understanding that piece of it. I don't know where you were necessarily going on the who side with that, but
what I'm going to is is or isn't NPod appropriate for existing list owners that are trying to figure out how to build a connection and basically break out of this like make money online cycle and actually do something that matters?
I think it is, but I think they've got to be willing and open to evolving,
Yeah.
of elevating their game, because it isn't going to be there isn't going to be some magic fix that's going to permanently do it. It's got to be a commitment to actually, make it happen. And some people just haven't gotten their head bashed in enough yet to be ready to build a real business that's a true business asset rather than a temporary short-term transactional exchange that, is a blip on the radar and then goes down again.
Okay.
It's like the stair step approach versus the, okay, let me reinvent myself tomorrow again. And you can make huge money doing that, right, on these product launches, but you're not building any asset value. You can build good cash flow if you do it right, but you're not building true equity in a business, because when you stop, it stops. And,
Dude, let's just do it this way, right? So let's run an example and see what comes out the other side. So,
hey, Christopher, thank you. I totally agree. I don't know when you tuned in, but I want to make sure that you know what we're doing here, because we could really use your insights. But what we're brainstorming how to position the who for NPod, like who we want to target and who we want to call forth to attention, as well as what's the big offer type thing. What's something that they really want, and what are the kind of the obstacles to that, so that we can map it out. Now, we know what NPod does on the full scale of things, but at least for me, I'm not clear on it because of my own stuff, right? Like I see it from the 100,000 foot view, and we need some more granular stuff, because we need an irresistible type, intriguing offer of what we're going to, a promise that we can make to people that they'll really get and understand.
I want to do this super simple. So let's run an example as we do this. Okay, Joshua?
Okay.
So we're on the promise, and Yannick's probably going to show up soon, so we're going to get interrupted, which is totally fine, because we're going to reveal
it's out of the bag now.
Oh, there's no bag. There's no cat. Nobody said anything. I didn't slip up on my words just then. So there's this thing, and this mystery package from a mystery person that we're going to unveil. We're going to unbox here in a few minutes. Prepare yourself for awesomeness. I didn't just mention the name of the person. Don't worry. So
imagine if his initials were YT, then he'd be Whitey.
Jesus.
Whitey the rapper.
Hell, Joshua. So
I had a friend that was what he wanted his rap name to be. He was going to go by he was going to be YT. And he was going to rap about things that he knew, like driving minivans to school and carpooling. And
That's right. That's funny. Okay, big promise. So let's say, actually, I'm going to use someone that I know as an example, but I'm not going to reveal their identity. Let's say that I am a music teacher. I'm a musician. I have a band. I really want to be a full-time rock star, but I'm older now, and it's just not happening. And I make all my money teaching guitar. And I'm
unclear as to what you're trying to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry. And I enroll in NPod, right? And I'm going to use my experience as a guitar teacher in order to build an NPod. I go through the NPod program. I go through all the modules and all the classes. I implement all the homework. I double down on it. And by the time I'm done, what do I have now?
You have a business asset that continues to grow and has the foundation of being able to do what NPod stands for, which is net profits on demand, which gives you the control over the tap, where you press a button and you can count on systematic certainty of results coming in, and you can do it in a way that serves everybody and actually increases the relationship and increases the responsiveness, no matter what that email communication or other communications happen to be about.
Okay, cool. Let's break it down to one sentence that a guitar teacher would understand. So I used to teach guitar one-on-one and in groups in my town. And I go through NPOD. And how's my life different? Or what, like, so you already said a lot.
I think that the big difference is that you're not chasing business. Business is systematically coming to you. And so in the case of, it's about building the right marketing, but really it goes beyond just marketing to engineer your business model around the marketing. And so like your products, your services, and the marketing itself are all become synergistic part of the equation. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there's two big competitive advantage I believe that NPOD had back in 2003 when I first released it, and still today has. One is that systematic, process of flipping the tables and having the people start coming to you and do it in a certain way. The other thing, though, that is pure gold that really was differentiated NPOD back then, and I believe is still the key today, is that it's the first course that I've ever seen, whether it was the home study version or this steroid enhanced version that we're now doing, where it was experiential, meaning that it wasn't just a bunch of information or a bunch of great insights. It was an actual interactive, experiential, learn by doing, not just get so far down the stream, but take a step, learn a piece of the puzzle and take action before you figure out how to build the whole model. So it's designed in a way to take action in between the lessons, so you learn and do simultaneously, and which of course leads to learn by doing, but that's experiential learning, right? And it allows people to get out of that professional student mode and professional collector of great ideas and concepts and move into builder mode and do it in action. So that because the problem that the problem that people face is that they think, all right, I got to get 100% clarity. I've got to, I've got to have, I've got to have that breakthrough experience, and I have to understand everything perfectly, and I've got to have it 100% clear, and then I'll be able to execute. And the problem is that even if that was possible and you could learn everything intellectually, there's always that learning curve gap in between knowing what to do up here and moving it into your heart and actually implementing it so that you can get the same results that an expert gets. Yeah. So I think, one of the tricks about NPOD in a good moment is that, in a good way, is that it tricks you into action without you remembering that you're in action, right? Like, because each lesson is designed to have a specific exercise, a specific a piece of the puzzle that you're doing. So you don't have time to get bogged down. If you're doing it in action, you're just adding to your blueprint, and then you might not even have a clarity of the whole business model until you're at the end of your core model, and then all of a sudden it clicks. But you've actually got your core model built out, and then all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, now I get it. And you go back and you enhance it and make it better and build it like not unlike what you did with List Crusade, right? Where you added extra things to it.
Okay, so I'm boiling it down, dude. I'm boiling it down. We're okay. Almost there. Assistant, and there's way too many ands in my sentence.
Yellow. What's up, Jean? Yeah, Jean's one of our clients, and she says that she makes progress every day.
So check it out. A systematic and scalable internet business that automatically attracts and creates new customers and subscribers every day. And then I'm too wordy. That makes sales of your products and services for you automatically.
I think we're getting close.
We're getting close. Yeah.
What was the first 3-4 words?
I'll read it again. And again, it totally needs to be.
I get it. I get it.
A systematic and scalable internet business that automatically attracts and creates new customers and subscribers every day.
All right, so pause for a second. I want to talk about this, and I want other people's input here too. For me, when I hear systematic and scalable, it becomes like the catchphrase, and I tune it out because it's so.
It sounds like a business in a box or an MLM or something like that.
But I mean, like everybody's saying systemized and scalable, that it's lost its punch, and people really don't know what that truly means.
Right.
And so therefore they don't know if they actually want that.
Someone, I think it was Rich Schefren, somebody else did a survey to their list about scalable and what it meant to them, and people said that they didn't want a scalable business, and the reason was because they thought if they had a scalable business, that meant they would have to do a lot more work. Right? So I totally agree. I
can totally see that. And
if I had a multi-million-dollar business, how could I possibly put in 180 hours a week? I'm already putting in 40, and I'm at my wit's end.
Right. And I mean that's the part that people don't understand. It's the part where you can walk away and it continues to operate with or without your direct efforts.
Okay, so an automated internet business.
Yeah, but I don't like the word automated, only because again, it's too much taken for granted. Like everybody says that, so that people don't understand what I mean, what you mean when we say automated, right? So that they have their own, and they think about it as like spamming everybody, or like think about authors and thought leaders and consultants and life coaches and those type of people. They really don't like selling, and they feel like that's a dirty word. So and it's kind of connected there. You know what I mean? And that is truly why I make a differentiation between enrollment-based selling and closing-based selling.
That's right. Okay, well, check it out. I just got word from YS.
Yeah.
He's going to be here soon.
Cool.
And so the thing is that we have a statement here that with some massaging, I think could do it. So while we're waiting for our mystery guest to emerge.
What's another word for magnetic, Chris, that we could use a metaphor for? And the reason is that two of my all-time favorite heroes use the magnetic phrase in their marketing, and I don't want to steal their thunder, and I also don't want to I need to differentiate myself. But yes, I mean, like it gets people to chase you or to come to you to enjoy, pick me. Yes, I'm eager to have your services.
Well, maybe adding in something about the line around the building, waiting line around the building, the on-demand piece.
Yeah.
Well, check it out. So I'm going to make a suggestion, which is while we're eagerly anticipating the arrival of our mystery man, even though we don't have all the words right on the promise yet, I would suggest that we quickly tackle the three big chunks, the three big things that stand in people's way of having one of these miraculous, magical NPOD business machines, right? So,
I think first of all is not understanding that email is the goal has got to be to get people to subscribe to your list. No matter what you're doing, you need to start looking at like social media and any of these other external sources, whether it's paid or, organic, as feeders into your email list. And I think that people sometimes look at the tactics and look at the latest things the they look at the latest, greatest things, and they think that that's the answer. And really, it could be part of the answer. But if your goal isn't to turn whatever that is into a feeder, and then so that you can
Right.
build relationship and provide value, or make an impact, to give insights in some way, shape, or form, where somebody on your list can go, wow, I didn't think of it like that. Doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be small, but wow, like, holy shit, that's something different. That's cool. Instantly in that moment, you've created an insight for them where they're looking a little bit different. And in that moment, that does create value in their head, and they're going to credit you, even if they've heard it a million times before from somebody else. But if they hear something, they go, wow, that's like, I never thought about that before. They will in fact end up, with a scenario or a situation where they credit you for facilitating that insight, and it's like you're the one that created that, and that deepens the bond, that deepens the relationship.
I agree. I also so I have something here that I took some notes down while you were talking that
Christopher's getting there too. Yeah, go ahead.
So here's what I'd ask you guys who are watching, whether you're watching the live stream or the recording, I want you to chime in, which is, what currently, as far as you can tell, is standing in your way of having an automatic internet business based around your passions and interests that automatically gets subscribers every day, that automatically generates sales of your products and services or affiliate products and services every day, in a completely systematic and predictable way? Like, what's stopping?
There's something else also that you just triggered, and I want to just capture it, whether we move on to, or move back to what you were just saying. But a lot of people, and this might be one of the obstacles that we got to get them over, is that they think they have to have their products and services done already in order to start building an audience, and they think that they have to, that they can't make money unless they already have, and it's like authors go through this, right? Well, first I have to write the book and have it be perfect, and then I can find my audience. But it's a whole lot easier if you have an audience that is bonded to you first, and then you write the book and you're interacting with them as you go.
Interesting. Okay.
So that is a big obstacle that I see people. It's just a mental beliefs, hurdle that they, that we have to engineer for and help them see that it's a backwards up approach.
Dude. So I've always been a pretty non-traditional guy, but at the end of the day, what happened, like I was never into the idea of business plans, because every time I read a book about business plans, I went to sleep prior to me going online, right?
Right.
Or talking to people about business plans, maybe want to kill myself. And so, but here's what happened is I went to NPod, and you know what I came out with? I came out with the perfect. No, I can't, dude. This is fucking good.
All right,
I came out with the perfect internet business plan and the ability to execute it and the ability to build it.
And you built it at the same time, at least pieces of it, right? Or did you?
At the same time. Yeah, it was at the same time and beyond.
Right. So it wasn't like the ability to execute it. You were executing it. I mean, like it was.
Yeah, but it taught
as you went.
It gave me the plan, and it taught me the skills. It gave me the perfect internet business plan. And
for you,
everybody,
it was built. Yeah.
What stops them from building that business is they don't have a clear picture in their head of what the heck it's going to look like, because they've never done it, so they have no confidence. But when you go through NPod, you build the business plan, and that's the terminology that's in the back of their head that's been being hammered into their head from grade school, is that in order to be successful in business, you need a business plan by teachers who don't know how to start businesses. And so,
but having some sort of a plan or a blueprint is useful, regardless. I'm not talking about like a traditional business plan, but having,
that's the thing. That's one of the major things that's stopping people from moving forward, is they can't 4D visualize internet business in their head because they've never experienced one. And
Right.
some of us can do that and others can't. A lot of the best internet marketers can, I've found. They're a little bit like whatever.
Yeah, it's like, well, you start thinking differently, and then your biology changes.
But what happens first is you need to have some kind of outline in front of you. And so going through the NPOD process creates that. Not only the plan, but the ability to execute and create it. So,
And now it's even more enhanced because that experiential piece is so customized, on the weekly, to go inside in concert with the both the modules of the education piece, the what to do,
yeah.
but here's the execution piece is like, here, go execute this, and then when we go get on a consulting coaching call with our clients, it gives us the ability to really give them something specific to tweak, to enhance, to get clarity on, but they've already attempted to take action. And so we're able to spot breakdowns because they're in the game.
Yes. So check this out. So I don't know when Yannick's when YS is gonna be here, but I have 3 things, and these might not be the 3, but here's a good these are the barriers. Okay, these are the giant brick walls that you need to bound over, break through, or reconfigure into something awesome. You need to get through these problems. Okay, and anyone that studied any amount of marketing or business is, I think, going to come up with roughly these 3 objections, these 3 challenges, maybe more. And those of you listening, what's stopping you? Other than not having the plan, specifically, what's stopping you from building that thing? We want to hear it in the comments. Please write it. Whether or not you're an existing NPOD student, right?
You stated something that triggered a thought for me that I just want to spill out for a second, which is the when you talked about like what Rich Seffrin did when he surveyed his list.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's breaking free of the time for money exchange, right? And realizing that it doesn't have to rely on you. And in fact, it needs to start to be able to leverage a system and then turn that system into a true scalable business asset. Gene just wrote, I finally feel like I can pull the trigger with what I have had online, and now it all makes sense, and I have a path to generate more income. And Jean's one of our first new clients that has gone through the program, and she's, she's a doer, she's an action taker, and also she's been behind the scenes doing all sorts of different things, and as we all can be prone to. Particularly in this day and age where there's so many great opportunities, there's so many great things that truly are legitimately amazing that we get caught up in wanting to jump to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing.
Right.
And she's learning how to, and both Telman and I are right there with Eugene. And I think so is the rest of the world. So enough about that. I got that at least captured. Telman, what?
Okay, here are the 3 that I see so far. Okay. And I think these are in order. So
okay. It doesn't matter if they are or they aren't, but
so number 1 is traffic. So I understand that I need a plan for my internet business, but where are all these people going to come from? Okay. I need to solve that problem. That's going to come up pretty darn soon. Okay. The second question that I think, we have to have some shifting around is it's not quite as clear, but it's basically systematic lead building. How to build an email list of fans, not leads, right?
Yeah, and how to keep going until that reaches the momentum tipping point where it's around that 1,000 true fan mark. That's the momentum tipping point. And, most people have to build a list of like 50,000 people to get 1,000 true fans, but there's some things that you can do with the X Factor. And I just wanted to say that Marilyn's hit on one too that may be part of your list already.
It is. It's my next one. You're
Okay.
right, Marilyn. Marilyn Zink says, what stopped me before was having the technical tools and knowledge and knowing how to tie it all together. Now that I'm finally figuring that out, it's more about doing the right marketing to get sales and grow my list. It's true. You do have to have the right technology and the right marketing strategy. If you don't have them both, you're out of line. It's not going to work. And so the three that I have is traffic, systematic list building, and technology. And so
It's funny because it's so funny because if you can see the seesaw here,
yeah,
traffic, marketing, and the third one for me is the business model or the website plan.
right.
So it really is those three core things that are the foundation. The problem that I think people run into though is they have been so programmed to the technology being the answer, push a button, and so they have this they think that it starts that way, and but it doesn't, and we have to get them over that that thing. And while tech stacks have become so much simpler now, I mean, like when I started out online in 1997, it was a whole nother ball game, and it really didn't improve until about
10 years later. Yeah.
Even later than that, because ClickFunnels was the first one that I saw at any rate that made that process simple, like truly simple.
Like 2010, honestly.
Yeah,
like 10 years ago was when things actually got easy and you didn't have to hire a website designer anymore, right?
Yeah,
or learn how to become one.
Right, but that's also bad news, right? Because now you want to get all sophisticated, you want to build this type of funnel and this over here, and it becomes, what gets lost is building a real sustainable business that is going to be a value creation machine for yourself, for the people that you choose to serve, and it's going to be long term.
Creation machine. So cool. So our mystery man is going to be showing up in 1 minute. So prepare for that.
Okay.
And so here's where we are, guys. Basically, we have a very wordy version of the promise, but really when you go through this process, you're going to learn how to build the perfect internet business plan for you and the ability to actually create that business. You're going to have the plan and the skills to create it. And as you go through that plan, there are 3 key areas that you're going to bonk your head up against that you'll have to figure out and make some decisions on. And they may come in a different order for you, but one is, how are you going to get people to your website in the first place? That's called traffic. The second one is, how are you going to get them on your list and maintain future communication with them? Really build up a list of fans, not just leads, but of fans who want to buy from you, okay, in a systematic way. And the third one is the technology. What are the current pieces of technology that you need in order to bring all of the pieces together on both a technology side and a strategy side? And that's what the internet business plan is for. So when you learn this process, that's what you get on the other side. So if that's interesting to you, here's what we're going to do. We're going to build a pop-up Facebook group that's only going to last for, I don't know, maybe a week or so, where we're going to do some training videos on the 3 big obstacles that are preventing you from building that business of your dreams. Okay, and the 3 big obstacles, again, are traffic, systematic list building, and technology. We're going to talk about, if you would like to be part of that free group to learn more about how to actually do this and build the perfect internet business that you want, then I'd like you to type business plan into the comments and shoot me a private message, and we will put you on the waiting list for that group as soon as it goes live, and we'll invite you in. So just write business plan in the comments. join me or shoot me and or Joshua a private message to confirm and let us know that you're interested. And you'll be one of the first people there. And we just got the bloop bloop. And
I heard it.
Right now you're black and white. Nobody can see you, Mr. YS, mystery man of legend and lore, but I'm about to turn you on. That's right. There he is. The man, the myth.
God, how come you don't age, man?
Yoga and meditation.
Did you say he never ages? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Did you say yogurt?
Yoga.
Yogurt Nation? Yogurt Nation?
Yogurt Nation.
It's good.
What's up, Joshua? How are you, man?
Man, what is going on, brother?
Been a long time.
Good to see
I
you.
love it.
Yeah, it's been forever.
Does anyone know who our special guest is? Because we've been trying to keep it a mystery. I've actually accidentally said your name twice in this live stream, even though I was trying not to say it at all. And I'd like to know if anybody knows the true identity of the fine gentleman that just. Oh, Christopher knows, from underground to your house. Oh, Kurt Rowley's here too. Hey, Kurt, how's it going? All right, that's great. So, I'd like to reveal our mystery man, none other than Yannick Silver. Yannick, if you could try like nudging yourself 2.5 inches over to your.
Hold on.
The other way.
There we go.
There you go.
Hold on. All right, there we go. Yeah, you can see my whole face now.
Center. That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
I think the last time we were face to face was on Necker.
I think like the third of my screen for some reason. All right, I like it. I'll figure it out. I'll be centered here.
Because
You
right
are centered now.
what we're looking at is 3 vertical stripes of each one of our faces. That's what the video looks like on Facebook. So, I mean, it's okay if you just want to show us like your left ear or something. That's
I kind of like this side a little better.
just do it. Yeah, just have a face. I want to introduce you guys.
Then I want to lean this way to see if I can see on the other side.
Yeah, there we go. We'll match. You
That's
just
great.
come over. I'll come on this side now. Or
Oh, we just hit
more
heads.
symmetrical. There you go.
Oh.
There, now lean over a little.
We can have a little virtual mosh pit.
There you go. A little more.
Wait. We
Yeah.
got the 2 Russian Jew noses.
Like
Now we're getting there.
in there. All right.
It's funny.
Right. Well, Chris
was
has
pretty-
guessed the true identity of our mystery man, and of course, it is none other than the legendary Yannick Silver. Yannick,
Yannick, you know what I saw 2 weeks ago when I was going through storage?
What'd you see?
That attaché case that you did with your info product, and you had them numbered, the secret agent
briefcase?
one.
Yeah, the
this with this, it
briefcase,
was
yeah.
like the
Those
metal.
are probably one of the first underground DVDs that we put out. That was really fun when we had.
Dude, that was awesome. The packaging on that was out of this world.
that was really good. And then the company we got it from went out of business, and then we had to pay more for the briefcase. So I think we stopped using that briefcase.
I love the way that you numbered it like a collectible. That was awesome. What a great idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that whole theme, and I think more and more people can use themes in a lot of stuff that they do because it just brings more personality, more fun into it. And, I think we were one of the first to really bring that, especially at the underground, that whole spy theme.
Yeah.
Really fun and engaging and people just want to play, right? Like I have this notion I call it purposeful play. So it's not just play, but there's a purpose behind it. It's around connecting deeper. It's around creating a difference. It's around, whatever it is. Like there's a reason for it. And
it's like something like an evolved business, I think.
It's something like that. That's right.
Very cool. Very cool. So, so in case you guys didn't pick up on this, Yannick Silver created an incredible seminar that ran for how many years? Do you know?
It ran for 10 years.
10 years. The Underground Marketing Seminar, definitely the most fun marketing seminar that has ever happened. Never mind on a consistent basis. And it was awesome. Super fun. I loved it every single year that I went. And you run Maverick Business Adventures and the Maverick Mastermind.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's hard to hear you. Some reason you keep going in and out, or maybe it's on my end.
Interesting. How do I sound for you, Joshua?
Perfect.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
I'm just going to monologue for a little bit, and
Do you want to drop me out so that you and Yana can, maybe that'll cut down on the stream the bandwidth, and then you can do your unwrapping, unboxing?
Sure.
I mean,
All right.
I don't. I mean, like, I won't be offended if you need to.
Try turning on. Can you just turn off your own video? Oh, if you do that,
Yeah,
that
I can.
get you a blank spot. I don't know, or just maybe. Oh no, that didn't work. Let me try this. Nope, that didn't work. Let me try this. All right,
There you
Joshua, you're temporarily out of here completely. I'm sure you can hear us still. I'll turn you back on in a second. That's right. So I just got a package in the mail from none other than Evolved Enterprise. And I'd like to open, I haven't told anyone about what's in here.
Let's check it out.
I have a fairly strong suspicion of what's in here, but we're going to have to see. Evolved Enterprise is your company, is it not?
That is my company. Yeah, that's the book I wrote a couple years ago, How Business Can Make a Difference in the World.
Yes. It's not a bomb. That's nice. Not a bomb.
I was going to put a bunch of confetti in there for you.
Nice. Nice.
Make it a complete mess for you.
It doesn't appear to be fragile, and I don't hear anything jiggling. All right. I'm going to take these out based on size. There's 3 items, I believe, in this box, or in this bag. First is Evolved Enterprise.
There you go.
Awesome book. I've read part of this in digital form. I'll hopefully read the whole thing in physical form.
Yeah,
awesome. An illustrated guide, an illustrated guide to rethink, reimagine, and reinvent your business to deliver meaningful impact and even greater profits.
And I have my own doodles in there too.
That's right. You're great at drawing. I remember when I was in Strategic Coach with you, and you'd always wear your socks, your crazy socks, and you'd always be drawing on everything. It was great sitting next to you.
Pretty much. This is the meeting I just came from, so these are my notes from my last meeting.
Nice. That is so awesome. I've always just had a hard time with drawing. I've never been very good at it. The next one is The Cosmic Journal by Yanik Silver. Extra fancy. Handwritten and illustrated by Yanik Silver, mind you. This is cool. You can see.
Is that the white covered one?
It is.
Yeah. All right.
And yeah.
Yeah, but you have another there too?
I do. I have one extra special one. I'm going to show that last. So cool. So what's the idea behind? So what should I open the other one and then you can tell us?
Open the other one and then I'll have you do something so it works like an oracle.
Yanik, that's your first character. That's your first mascot is the Oracle or just Oracle.
The Oracle.
Just to make that that's going to crush it for you. That's what we've got to do. I
love it. Yeah, there's a couple characters in here. This has been really. I mean, it's been coming through me in a deep way. It was literally 100. Well, I'll let you show the book and I'll explain it.
So it says, Cosmic Journal, Volume 1, Yanik Silver, CosmicJournal.com. To catalyze the cosmos in service of one. You didn't. I wasn't sure you'd find your journal, but here we are. So good. This is awesome. Oh, so good.
All right, so well, hold on. So before you flip around on it, just close it up, take a breath for a second, and then open it up anywhere.
Should I think about something or not? Just pure.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever you like. You can think about a question, or you can open it.
Okay.
Oh, open the bad boy up.
That's what I opened. Which side should I pay attention to?
Hold on. I just see you frozen. Show me. I see it. Oh, that's one of my favorite ones. All right. So that's the labyrinth. And I don't know if you can actually read it because it goes sideways and around and around. But
yeah, I will. It says,
I can read it to you.
It says enter, and then it says, you don't need to see the full path, just the next step. And then the next one, and the next one will open to you. Each step moves you closer to your center, even if you feel upside down and turned around. Maybe you feel like you are walking in circles further away from your goal. Keep moving. Keep going. One step forward, one step onwards, until you see the next turn, the next twist. In the road, the closer you get, you will be tested at the threshold. It's all within sight until you shift again. This time, you can come home again to yourself fully.
What do you think? Did that have a message for you?
It did.
Yeah, and so,
it did indeed. That was cool.
Yeah. So this came from me accepting a challenge that I saw online, which was 100 days of art every single day. And I'm like, 100 days is great. Number one, I'm like, I don't know if I could do it. Number two, I travel around a lot. Would I be able to pull it off? And then number three, I'm like, 108 days has more meaning for me in the yogic traditions. And so I'm like, I'm going to do 108 days. And I literally grabbed the moleskin that I had, created 108 check boxes, and just did every single day was a new page, all like stream of consciousness, whatever came through me after meditating, or I went back through old journals and found some pieces that I wanted to pull together. And what I call it the Galactic Instruction Manual you were missing when you were born to re-remember your destiny here.
Nice.
And so I wrote it for myself, and then like just this beautiful way that, when you do something that really comes from your heart with your soul, like things just started opening up. And I started showing it to a bunch of friends like, oh, you need to publish that. You need to get that thing out there. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, maybe. And then one of my buddies is like, I'm going to pay you to actually do it. So he wrote me a check to go get those cool versions out and that you got. So you got one of 888 versions, Telman.
Nice.
That are out there. And then I got a meeting with the president of Hay House, Reed Tracy, breakfast meeting, and I showed him the little manuscript, and he was like blown away. And then that came through as a contract that they bought the rights to that version. And it was the wildest thing I've ever done because I've written a bunch of books, but I've never handwritten a book. And so when they're giving me edits, they're like, you need to edit this part and this part and this part. And I had to literally redraw pieces. I had to rewrite pieces. And then at one point I had these little 2-inch by 2-inch squares of the pages on my kitchen island, trying to figure out what the order was, it's so unbelievable. And then I finished that at 1:11 a.m. I finished the left-hand prompt pages at 1:11 a.m. So there's so much magic that was in this thing. And I've had 2 people cry so far by getting the right page at the right time. It's
nice.
It's been really, really cool to see it.
That's awesome. Brilliant.
I love it.
Yeah.
I want some more of it.
It's interesting because while Telman opened it up to the right page, it was the right page for me too. And I loved the whole message that he shared of your message. It really is, I love your whole positioning. I love brilliant.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, this was again written for myself. I didn't even know if I would put it out there. So there's some things in there that are definitely out there, unusual. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to put it in there. And this is the fullest expression of who I am. And I love it. So Josh, I'd be happy to get you a copy. Shoot me.
I would love that, Yannick. That would be, I'd be forever grateful. I am right now.
And it works like a journal too. So a lot of people have tried journaling, put it down and don't use it. So this is there's spots for on the other side of the page where you can actually journal, and then you're prompted by other stuff that happens that you flip to. So you can go page by page. There isn't a real arc to it. tell me you'd appreciate that. I mean, it's really written like a myth of starting with unity and separation, then back to what is this new evolving ascending age that we're moving into. And it's pretty cool.
I love it.
It's awesome, man. And I just wanted to say, without getting too kumbaya, that I applaud your courage to put yourself out there that transparently, that vulnerable. That takes guts, and I really appreciate that. And that's the kind of things that I've been looking to do over the last 10 years myself, and am doing in a different format. But
yeah, I know, it's a funny journey, right? Like as entrepreneurs, so many times people are like, oh, if you're successful, you've made it, you're kind of done.
Right.
But
not so much.
Right. And, about 11, 12 years ago, and Joshua, your story is probably a little bit different. Telman, yours is different too, but everyone goes through this, I call it a cosmic alarm clock. And this cosmic alarm clock.
Dude, you need to start selling cosmic alarm clocks.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Well, I have a whole, maybe there's someone on this line that wants to do it, or, tell me, I think I showed you this, but I have a bunch of like ideas for artifacts, like for like really cool, and cosmic alarm clock could definitely be one of them. But so the cosmic alarm clock goes off and you can either hit snooze, or you can, it's like a little voice and it gets louder and louder until you either hit snooze or you answer it. And typically it requires you to do something different. And so for me, it was like 11, 12 years ago when I just asked a really simple question: am I happy? Would I be happy with what I'm doing 10 years from now? And it was kind of difficult because I was helping a lot of people. We talked about Underground going on for 10 years.
I don't know if you can see my arm, Yannick, but I got full body goosebumps at the moment.
Nice.
I'll tell you why afterwards, but
well, and it's, it's like I was helping so many people. Like there's no event or anywhere I'd go to, someone's like, oh, dude, you totally changed my life. Now I sell guitar lessons online, or now I do whatever. Like one of my favorites was a college kid that his mom thought he was selling drugs in college because he learned how to sell information on how to take an engine out of a Honda Accord to put into a Honda Civic, and he was making like $100,000 doing that in college, right? So so I was helping a lot of people, and it's really close to what I'm probably designed to do, but I'm like, no, this isn't my full thing. And then I'm like, all right, what would it look like? And I do a lot of journaling. So I'm like, oh, it would look like taking awesome entrepreneurs on adventures and having business sessions in the middle of nowhere and having a charity component. And then about $400,000 in, I'm like, oh, I guess that's not it. And more like my wife was like, oh, that's not it. So, it's funny because one of my other friends, we were having lunch. He's like, oh yeah, yours was 400,000, mine was 4 million. So everyone kind of, the universe continues to bonk you on the head harder and harder. And so it would force me to look at my why. And it would have been really easy to just have the golden handcuffs, go back to just being an internet marketer and just go back to that, what was easy and safe. But I'm like, no, there's something here. And so I always say following your heart is frequently scary, but never wrong.
Right.
And this was like, let's keep going and see what it is. And so then I used journaling again to I asked my 111-year-old self, and I used my non-dominant hand, my left hand, especially as things are going sideways, like what would you tell me? And it was light 1,000 suns who could light another 1,000 suns. And that's when we changed the name to Maverick 1000. That's when we changed the intention of what we're doing. And all those pieces of the Evolved Enterprise started coming into play too, of adding more impact, adding a greater mission, just everything, and from the people that I met from it. So it was like really a big turnaround. And then it was a big spiritual, I think the last decade has been a very big spiritual growth decade for me too, of really stepping into what is your full alignment of head, heart, higher purpose. And it usually requires giving up identity, right? Like, if my identity is wrapped up around, I had 7 or 8 7-figure things. It was, everything I touched was easily worked, it was successful. But then the first thing that I cared so much about, wasn't working. And it really, it did a number on me. And then it was like, okay, so what is it? And then it just goes back to bedrock of, okay, what that's what this Cosmic Journal is really about too, is like really discovering that true essence.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. Two things. One is, Yannick, do you happen to have a set of headphones somewhere?
I don't. Is my audio really messed up?
I think
it's just
it's echo,
it's feedbacking.
but now we can't hear you.
How about this? Is this better?
I think so.
You know, there's a setting on the inside of Restream on your that you can do a drop down, and it'll cut down on that edit. That echo.
Okay.
In the settings, and then the
under advanced
echo cancellation.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll see if I can find that.
Cool. Well, if you can't, we'll get over it. So I want to ask you guys a question about journaling, because Joshua, you journal for the last 2 years. You've been journaling like daily or something.
Next week will be my 2-year anniversary of daily.
Nice.
Yannick, you made your own journal.
Yeah.
My good friend Jesse Elder has encouraged me to journal many times, and I'm working with this crazy spiritual therapist guy that's more like he's more like an enlightened monk than he is a therapist, and he's been teaching me how to communicate with myself and all these things, and he's been trying to get me to start journaling for a year. And there have been several times over my life where there have been important, influential, intelligent people that have really encouraged me to start journaling. And I've always been, for some reason that I can't crack the code on, I've been doggedly resistant. And I think it's something that would be hugely helpful to me, but like I almost feel a sense of fear or anxiety, some sort of resistance around doing it. And I'm wondering if either of you or even anyone who's paying attention right now has experienced that and how you got through it.
I'd love to hear your answer, Josh, and then I'm going to pull one of my journals off the shelf so I can show you a couple things. Oh.
I mean, you and I have talked about this quite some time. Like, it wasn't until, I journaled throughout my entire adult life at various points in time, but never consistently. And when I just set down the goal, and I call it like the law of momentuming, and this kind of like I just focused in on, it doesn't matter what comes out, because I think like when we get so tied into the creative process where it's gotta be awesome, it's gotta be, and I just said, like, I'm gonna write, and whatever comes out doesn't fucking matter. I'm just gonna keep writing, and I'm gonna promise myself that I'm actually not gonna erase it, because I write it on the Notability iPad app, and I'm not gonna hit the undo, I'm not gonna hit the eraser. If I need to cross something out, I'm gonna cross it out and pretend like it's hard copy.
Right.
And in the beginning, it was really funny because like I thought that all the stuff was like garbage in the very beginning, but when I would review it later on, I was like, this ain't bad. Not all of it was awesome, but this, there's some good stuff in here.
Yeah.
And then I just got into the habit of doing it, and I loved what I got from it. And it became at times like a spiritual connection to my mother, who passed away when I was 2 months old.
Right.
And It was like she was my guardian angel, and I referred to her in my journaling as Mama Muse.
Right.
And I would ask her questions, and she would respond to me with the answers. And it was more like I'm not to steal from Neil Donald Walsh with his but it felt at times like I was taking dictation rather than, it really did feel like a conversation, and it still does from time to time now. And so like that. And before I turn it back over to you, Yannick, I just want, before we wrap here, I want to share with you, when you said the cosmic alarm clock and when it went off, both of you guys were present when my cosmic alarm clock went off, and I just want to share that story. I know the exact date on which it fired.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It was on Necker Island. It was about a day, maybe 2 days after we got back from Necker Island, 2009, when Telman got married, and it was an incredible event and an incredible time of that week there that we spent with Branson. And I was in flux then, and I felt like I didn't belong there. I felt like I had made a completely asinine choice to go because I wasn't, I wasn't doing what everybody else was doing. I didn't have any desire, and literally 2 days after I touched down back home, I shut down my entire business. And that was like the 15th, maybe it was the 20th of May, 2009.
Wow.
And it was, I don't recommend that for everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm happy now to be on the other side of it, but I can so relate to what you were talking about, Yannick, where, like it becomes so like a battle for your identity and a battle for like, you want it so bad that you get so attached to the results and you can't just go with the flow and you want to force it and make the shit happen. And that defeats the whole purpose, at least it did for me, of what I was trying to accomplish and what I was trying to build.
Yeah, there's so much there that you just shared. So thanks for sharing that. That idea of attachment. There's a really good book called The Great Work of Your Life that's about the Bhagavad Gita, looks at all these different people and when they found their dharma, how that really just supercharged everything they're doing. Like the Mandelas of the world, or Harriet Tubmans, or Susan B. Anthony, but one of the key lessons of the Bhagavad Gita is that we're only essentially allowed to have we can't be attached to the fruits of our labor, only the labor. So if we put our full heart and soul into something, that's the reward. And that's what I found from this Cosmic Journal was like, it was when I had the little checkbox every single day when I did it, even though it was 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, that was the happiest of the day because I put something together and that prolificness. And then the fruits are so much greater. Like I never, way back in my mind, I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll publish it. I don't know. But I still think it has so much more potential of what it can be, but I'm also not attached to it. It's like what is coming forth. And then I want to just go back to the journaling question, if you want, Telman, I love what you said, Joshua, about, things coming forth, like not being attached. Again, what do you write in there? Whatever I start writing is usually not the same thing that ends up on the page.
Right, for sure.
Or at the end of it. And then it's been scientifically proven to make us happier because it forces us to create a beginning, middle, and end on a page. And so I would suggest to you that note app that you have, it sounds like you're using the pen, right? The iPad pen.
Yeah.
So that's good. And but a lot of people ask me about digital versus physical. I use physical, like all my journals are actual physical. And I also like the colors too. So I love the colors. It really creates something different. And then you can work through ideas. Like this is an idea that I've had for literally years and years that I'm continuing to download and get it out there. But it's that what you were talking about, like talking to your mom. I'll give you an interesting idea that I've done. So, and they're part of these cards that I have coming out next month. Yeah, I love it. Nice.
And I just realized now that here's the interesting one that's on the top. It was the top one. Let's see if you can see it.
It looks, oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
wait a minute. Is this possible? Oh, dude, this is I just cleaned my desk, and look, and this was not a plant.
That's pretty good too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem taking a book and taking some notes for like a seminar or something.
Right. Yeah, and that's different. So I'll use one journal a lot for notes too. Not always, but it's just it creates this magicness. Is that even a word? It creates this magic where even like like my drawings, right? Like to me, the drawings enhance the journaling. And so I wanted to be a cartoonist as a kid and a professional hockey player. So I'd be a cartoonist in the off season. And I put that art away for a long, long time. And then through my journals, it actually came back. And then it came back in a big way. And then I have all these different ways of like creative prompts. So going back to tell me what you were thinking about, like this anxiety and this. So I think.
Yeah, I just don't like. Everyone tells me it's really good, but it's for some reason I don't want to do it, and it's just itself.
Yeah, but who cares? So here's what I'd consider for you is I love experiments, right? Experiments have a beginning and an end. So if you said it's going to be, for me, I do a lot of 33-day experiments. It could be 21 days. It could be whatever. And you're like, I'm just going to commit to this time. That's it. No, nothing else beyond that. And then you see, like, does it enhance your life or not? And then you also give yourself a similar time each day. For me, it's before bed typically, so I can process my day. And give yourself, like, make it an easy win for you. Don't make it, I need an hour to journal. Make it 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So it's super easy. And then also don't get wrapped up in what am I going to write about? Like, is this good enough? Should I be editing it? Like, who the hell is someone going to read this? Are my kids going to read it at some point? Are they going to be, pissed off about this? So there's only one time I've ever ripped out a page and burned it. But otherwise, I'm like, I just want to put it out there. And I've had my daughter come in and she's like, read my journal. She's like, A, you write really boring stuff. B, it's really small. So it's not that interesting. I'm like, okay. And so, but I also imagine, like, if I had my grandfather's journals, like, how awesome would that be?
Okay, fair enough. All right, you got me on that.
But I'm also, like, writing it not for my kids to read it at some point. I'm writing it for me. And then it's just like giving yourself that space. And so, Joshua, what I was going to tell you with your mom, you already sound like you already have a deep connection there that's coming forth. Here's another way to do it is I will have these Q&As. I will write questions with my right hand and then answer with my left hand.
Dude, that's awesome. Thank you.
Unbelievable answers. So I've had conversations with my mom who's passed about 15 years ago. I've had conversations with a dragon. This is up your alley, Talman. So I have these, so you tap into the archetypes, and now I'll meditate first and then journal. So now I'm more centered and connected and then journal. It's powerful.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, Yannick, you said something that I just want to make sure that I tag on because it reminded me, Talman, that I did the exact same thing when I first started the habit. I said, I'm going to do this for 21 days in a row. And then I'm going to stop and reevaluate whether it was worth it and whether I want to continue or not. It wasn't like a long-term, like I gave myself permission to quit at the end, but I wasn't going to quit until I got to that 21-day part. Yeah. And it didn't matter what I did. I was going to sit and I was going to get the 3 pages done, and whether it took me 10 minutes or 3 hours, whatever, it didn't matter. And
3 pages is a lot. That's great output. For me, it's 1 page, but I write small.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes, I just write big. So yeah. My 3 pages is probably one of yours, single page. But no, mine's nothing like that, because when I gotta go, and it's like. Anyway, and then at the 21-day mark, I said, all right, this is work. I'm going to give myself permission to go for 90 days. And at 90 days, I'm going to reevaluate. Is it still working? And at 90 days, I said, you know what? I'm digging this. I'm loving this. I'm going to go to the 1 year mark. But each time I'm like, if it's not serving me anymore, I have permission to quit when it's not like it's not an obligation anymore.
Yeah. It's really fascinating as you're talking about this. So one of my friends is a big time meditator, and we are on the same hockey team. Our kids are on the same hockey team, and so sometimes we'll meditate together, which is great. And then we were like at the game on Sunday, and he's like, I'm like, hey, let's go sit over by this awesome tree I love. Let's go meditate. And he's like, yeah, it's great. He's like, I forgot to meditate yesterday. It was the first time in, I think he told me 2,000 days he didn't meditate. And I'm like, so how do you feel about that? And he's like, I feel great about it. He's like, that's awesome because I wasn't attached to that. It had to, that I
it wasn't for the sake of keeping the streak going. It was.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm like, that's a great answer. I love that. And
that's awesome.
That's what you see happen too in this. But I think you need a certain level of momentum to get going at the beginning. So I'll do these things like, no sugar or no alcohol or whatever it is. And then you evaluate like how, do I want to add it to my life or not add it to my life? And then you give yourself permission not to. The other thing is make it your own, right? So for me, it's adding the drawings, adding these different things. I also will do I'll write ahead. So sometimes I'll draw ahead, and then that creates what I'm writing about. So one time I drew a giraffe, and then when I got to the page, like 20 pages later, it was like, oh, if I could see higher and further, what would I see? Or if I'll put a little quote to myself or whatever it is, like just whatever's coming forth. And then what you'll love about this too, Talman, like imagine, Joshua, if you had that notebook from those 2 days after Necker, like what you were feeling, and you could go back to that and see.
I actually probably have it in a notepad, or I was always writing stuff and taking notes and putting it in journals. It just wasn't in a searchable. That's why I've stuck with the iPad, because I can search through it and find it. Even in my handwriting, I can locate it.
Yeah, so it's funny. Like I don't know. I'm more into the serendipity, synchronicity of it. So I'll flip open a journal at random, or sometimes I'm like, hey, what was I doing on my birthday on this year? Or what was I doing on this other time? Or
right.
It was a big opportunity to go back and see, or whatever the case is. But some people, it's again making the journal work for you. So some people will number pages, they'll number their journals and then index them. For others, it's like, no, that's not the thing. And others are like, let me just, it's so flexible. And like I just so love journaling. It has that opportunity to be anything that you want it to be. I met Liz Gilbert one time, who wrote.
God, she just brings me to tears. That one, I much watched her Genius. Ole, Ole, Ole.
I didn't see that one.
Oh man, I probably watched it about 100 times, literally. It just anyway. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Eat, Pray, Love, right? So she's and we were in a green room. We were both speaking on a program, and we started talking about journaling randomly. And she's like, "Oh my God, let me show you mine." And then I'm like, "Let me show you my pens and what I'm doing." And she's like, "Oh, this is amazing." And then she's like, "But what you don't have?" So I added to my repertoire was a glue stick. So it's a very specific kind of glue stick, this Italian glue stick. And she's like, yeah. So now when I go places or different things, I will cut out things and add them and glue them in. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So now I added that. So a lot of times when I doodle, I'll be like, oh, this is a pretty cool doodle. So maybe I'll add it to my journal in some way, or who knows. So again, it's just so flexible. It's just whatever you want it to be. But it's a beautiful record too. And then you're like going back and you're like, oh, that I thought that was a problem. That wasn't a problem. Or you see how you resolved it, or how that problem actually set up something greater for you. And
the name of it is Your Elusive Genius, and I have a shortened link that I can shoot into the.
Yeah, send it over.
Here it is. I'm going to put it in Restream, Telman, and then you can. It's just gogo.ist and /genius.
And I saw a couple of people mentioning that they journaled on and off. I saw Gene saying, I need to journal. By the way, that's also like language to me is so important. And Telman, this is your world too. It's like language, right? So if we say I should journal or I need to journal, I'll pick on Gene for a quick second.
It's a half a tune. Go ahead, because she knows very well.
It creates guilt. It creates, this. It's just like how do we remove that as part of our world? I noticed I stopped myself too. Like it's like you just have to bring awareness to what is your language, because that's really going to impact you.
Or like, this is awesome. I'm going to start journaling.
Not even start. I'm gonna commit to my experiment.
Yeah, or whatever it works for you, right? I mean, like, but you're right. Like the have tos, I need to. That's heavy. That's and it's so funny because Gene's one of our clients, Yannick, and so often in our coaching and consulting calls with Gene, I will do something very similar to what you just did about I have to do this or I need to do this, and it's a. So I'm sure that right now she's giggling and
But again, I do that too, right? Like I'm like, oh, I got to go take my kid to hockey. It's like, no, I don't have to take my. It's
fun, get to.
Like I get to, and I coach him. Like it's not. Oh, I have to go.
That's right.
Like and just bring that awareness wherever you can.
Yeah, for sure.
I fully agree. Yannick, thank you for joining us today. This has been
cool. Awesome, man.
Thanks for the cameo opportunity.
We've got the Cosmic Journal, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be very fun. I will share with you some of my journalings as I begin to use this amazing process. And I really...
you can use that as your journal if you want to, just dive into a little bit more journaling. Use that as your...
That's the idea.
You don't need to have a blank journal to start with. Use that one.
That's right. That's right. You guys can get your own Cosmic Journal at cosmicjournal.com. And I'm looking forward to some journaling. By the way, Yannick, another good mascot for you is going to be Serendipity.
Serendipity, synchronicity.
Oh, you said both. Synchronicity is going to work better than serendipity. Synchronicity is a little sexier, and it's a more common word.
And we'll have a little cameo by Carl Jung. It'll be fun.
That's right. People will love getting email from Synchronicity. Mark.
Yeah, there you go.
Mark.
Yeah. And the Cosmic Alarm Clock and the Great Cosmic Joke is another one of my characters. We have a lot of characters here.
Nice.
We have a universe, a whole universe, a whole
entire.
Definitely building your own world around it. That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and again, you have those conversations with each of those archetypes, and that's really powerful.
That's right.
I'm going to try your suggestion of left and right.
Yeah, you don't have to do them at the same time. That would be awesome if you could do that.
I'll tell you guys.
I'm not that talented.
Even though I am a journaling noob here because I've been so resistant to it for so many years, I'm learning.
You might want to not reinforce that every time.
I know. I've been learning how to the perspective is to journal to different aspects of myself, starting with your little boy, right? So you when you're a kid, or me when I'm a kid, and then the next two that I'm communicating with are my wise man and my wise woman, right? Basically, old man Tellman and the feminine aspect as well, to help gain insight, perspective, clarity on how to react or handle situations that I'm confused about how to handle well in my life, which I know none of you guys ever have. But yeah, the idea is to journal to these different specific aspects of oneself and ask them questions and then let their answers come through your hands. Right.
Totally. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot.
Yeah, that's a great approach, Tellman, and that'll work wonders for you because it's for you.
Well, in theory, we'll see. What were you saying, Yannick?
No, you will. You use your left hand so write the questions with your dominant hand and answer with your left hand.
Right.
And I'm trying to figure out how to make this thing screen share what I want it to screen share, but there's that's all right. But I have cards coming out next month from Hay House 2 that are Oracle cards, and they have 11 of these Cosmic Q&As, and one of them is 111-year-old self, like you're talking about the wise man.
Oh, nice.
And one is your 11-year-old self. And so these are all available on pre-order for Amazon or whatever it is, but I want to show you a picture of it because I think you would dig it. My son drew the 11-year-old self one, or part of it, and mostly his daughter or my daughter is the artist, but I let him to draw it, and it came out really, really fun.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's your 11-year-old self, and then there's some sample questions that you would have.
Yannick, do you remember? Were you on Jay Abraham's direct mail list back in like 99, 2000?
Probably. I think that was right when I started getting involved with Jay, for sure.
The one of the direct mail pieces, I'll never forget it because it was so brilliant. But your drawings, and I don't even consider them doodles. I mean, they're works of art. But the way that you take notes, he was promoting something, and the entire envelope, because he sent the oversized packages out, the entire envelope was like his notes from a workshop that he had just attended, and it was like it looked just like one of your pages. It was brilliant.
That's cool.
I still have it somewhere in my archives.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. That would be really, really cool.
I'll dig it up for sure.
Yeah. I wonder,
it's 3:33, Cosmic Alarm Clock. It's 3:33, everyone.
Doot, doot, doot.
That's so funny you noticed that. That's a very galactic number.
Yeah.
Galactic as fuck.
That's pretty good. And I wonder if those are Jay's notes or someone else who made them. But.
Yeah, I forget. I mean, he tells the story in there, and one of the things was like how to take notes visually, and that was part of the. But you know, Jay, he was always doing something cool.
But that's the wild thing is like, so the more and more you embrace this, I don't know, like you call it your weirdness or whatever, it's the true uniqueness that you put out into the world. So
yeah,
doodles are going to be my own way, and then I can like start comparing them to other artists, and you're like, yeah, it's a work of art. I'm like, well, maybe. I had one person do an interview with me. She's like, you're not the best artist in the world, and she's laughing. We're friends. She's like, don't take this wrong, but when you combine it with your wisdom and what you write in there, it's amazing. But right. So it's just like, how do we express ourselves at that full expression, and what does that look like? And that's really
and unapologetic. I mean, like that's who. This is it.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just allowing you to eavesdrop over my shoulder sometimes.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I think really is this appeal of this journal, and why people, when they get it, they want to gift it to other people, and it really does feel like you're reading someone's journal, and then it also becomes your journal.
Yeah. Awesome.
Gentlemen, thank you.
This is awesome. Thank you,
Very
Yannick.
good.
This has been phenomenal.
Yannick, is live streaming not awesome? I told you it was fun.
It's fun. It's definitely fun, and we can do some more doodles next time.
Totally. We'll doodle the crap out of the live stream.
All right.
Thanks to see Harris's setup.
I would recommend that y'all run your little digital butts over to cosmicjournal.com and journal it up with the cosmos. Thank you, Yannick. Thank you, Joshua.
Thanks, Joshua.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Toodaloo. Have a great afternoon.
See ya. Bye.